Hey, how you guys doing? My name is LMC, otherwise known as Luke. But I am been lucky enough to been invited to be able to contribute to this beautiful platform, Cannabis Legalization News. We're going to cover a multitude of different things, but I want to thank everyone at Cannabis Legalization News. I want to thank you for watching, and I want to, like I said, special thanks to Tom, Miggy, Lauren. Y'all are amazing. But yeah, guys, let's enjoy. This is my first collaboration segment here. So, by the way, my YouTube channel is Let's Talk Cannabis LMC. But yeah, like I said, bear with me. This is the first time. It'll get better. Thank you guys for watching. Jump into a few different stories, and we'll start real quick with this one that I posted about 5 hours ago. So, oops. Anyway, typically this is the kind of format that I use. Would love your guys' feedback, but this is the first video we're going to go into. First story. This is people that have just been arrested for allowing a 3-year-old to smoke cannabis multiple times on Snapchat. It went viral. Now these people are in jail. This stuff is idiotic. Please don't ever do this. This is, I think most people know this, but that's a 3-year-old. Obviously the brain doesn't stop developing, I believe, until like 26 for men, 24 for women. More so though, this is ridiculous. A 3-year-old, no matter what, should not be smoking cannabis. This is stupid. Yeah. It also hurts the legalization efforts, and this is just propaganda that'll be used against us and the cannabis legalization movement. So this stuff is ridiculous. Wanted to highlight that. Okay. Let's go to another story here. Okay, let's actually go to this one right here. So this is a pretty crazy story. Utah, right? They passed Proposition, I believe, 226, Proposition Prop 2, so creating medical marijuana, right? And what happened with this case is there was once they passed that, the state actually came in and made changes to that proposition that was voted in by the people, and pretty much these changes that were made were on they made a cap limit on the amount of patients that a medical cannabis licensor or like a doctor could see every month, which is crazy, right? I don't know the specific cap number, but for example, it could be you can only see 1,000 patients in 1 month, and that's it. And there's going to be hundreds of thousands, or at least thousands. People think that there might be 100,000 though, plus that may not be able to see a doctor, right? Now, why? And then there's also they're curtailing distribution, so the accessibility is much less. It's not nearly as spread out / accessible as it should be. So they've limited the number of retail. The distribution network has been completely messed up. Anyway, this was brought. So once they made those changes, they passed it through. They were then met with a lawsuit from the organization called Truce, which is a multitude of different organizations working together. One's like specifically in epilepsy, other medical companies or medical organizations in terms of the benefits of medical cannabis, right? And so they had this lawsuit, and they had to drop it because it was to make sure to keep the thing that keep the bill, the original bill that was voted in, so that it could it wouldn't go through with the changes, right? The fact that they're doing this is pretty messed up. And anyway, these Truce ran out of money, right? And so because they ran out of money, they just recently announced that they had to drop the case. So these restrictive, repressive laws that are been changed after the people voted their, the will of the people, right? Um, Pretty ridiculous, right? So that's a messed up story. Let's let's keep going though. Let's keep going. Um, and thank you guys, by the way, for bearing with me. This is my first kind of time I've done this kind of specific style. Okay, let's go to this. This is pretty crazy. Okay, so this is a story that was put onto me by Conquer Media, right? This is actually so I talked to Austin. He's actually right here. He just commented there. But there was they did an interview with um, Shannon the Cannon Briggs, and he's a very famous boxer. If you don't know, anyway, he just came out with a cannabis brand in Michigan. Also, if you guys don't know Mike Tyson, I'm sure most people know Mike Tyson. He's fighting actually, I believe, in October. I think I can't remember who he's fighting with at the moment. But Shannon the Cannon Briggs, right, is coming out with Cannon OG with MKX, which is a really big Michigan cannabis brand. But Conquer Media asked him, what about having a fight where it's a cannabis promotional boxing event that it's kind of a little bit, it's a fight between two people, but also there's they both have cannabis brands. They both also grew up across the street from each other growing up, and they both became legends in boxing. And it would be a massive stage for cannabis. It would help normalize cannabis and so many other things. That'd be fascinating to see. Hopefully that gets through. That would be amazing. Okay, let's go to, and see, I have a lot of different content. A lot of politics recently, but that's how it's gone. Okay, so this is a story that I found extremely kind of terrifying in a lot of ways. So this is Joe Biden's terrible plan for mandatory drug rehabilitation, the new prison industrial complex. Okay, so this is what recently Joe Biden has been saying on the trail, the campaign trail, and it sounds good at first, but you start to kind of like really think about it, and there's some flaws in there. Okay, so this is what he said on September 3rd, 2020. Let's read it out loud and then we'll break it down. Okay, quote, "Instead of building more prisons, as I've been proposing for some time, we've built rehabilitation centers. They've got to go to mandatory rehab, but it's not part of the record when they get out if they finish it." Biden during remarks in Kenosha, September 3rd, 2020. Okay, real quick. So what he's proposing, I mean, I'm assuming most of you guys get this, right? But he's proposing instead of going to jail, they have to go to mandatory rehabilitation, rehab. What are the big problems with that? Well, one, your mandatory rehabilitation, I mean, that's technically jail in a way, right? It's mandatory that you go to rehab. Okay. Two, this has a great chance for private industry to come in and start to take over the industry and have a similar system set up like the prison industrial complex or the military industrial complex, which is basically taking public money, turning it over to private, right? That has been the key of extraction for these different kind of companies, and some of our politics has been corroded by the fact that we have money in politics, the fact that corporations are becoming bigger and bigger, right? So the fact is, mandatory rehabilitation centers means to me that there will be most likely private rehabilitation centers. I almost guarantee you that means public money is going to be going to private. That means that that's a business. That's inefficient. That's the exact same model as the prison industrial complex. The only difference here is that the record is clean, and that's good. That's a great thing. But if you talk to people, I literally, there's another video that I recently got Roger Stone to explain to me what his views on cannabis legalization. We talked about Nixon, right? And he said that in the 3 minute, I got a cameo from him. Go check that video out. It's Let's Talk Cannabis LMC. But he said the fact that people have to have a record after they get out of jail, that just doesn't make sense from an economic standpoint, right? You want to have people be able to be have a resume that's marketable, and the fact that a felony just absolutely just cuts you off and you have very few options, and that can be crippling for yourself financially, for people with felonies, and also the fact that it doesn't help the economy at all, right? So the only difference there is that it makes it less it just adds to the economy, right? But like at the end of the day, when we talk about the corroded system that we have with the prison industrial complex, with private prisons, the fact that there's a stock for private prisons, this could also have a very similar effect too. So mandatory rehabilitation would waste resources. It would be wasting resources potentially, somehow, if there's more people forced to go in there, the quality is going to get less and less, because if it's private, it's all about profit, right? So they're going to try to keep every single year trying to lower the prices. Multitude of other problems with this too, but I do not like this idea. This is not a good proposition by Joe Biden. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, let's go to this. Okay, so this is a weed map series that recently came out. Okay, so this is Uprooted. This is by, like I said, Weed Maps. It really just it's a multiple part series. It covers, as you guys can see, right right below the main title, California's complicated road to legalization. California is a mess and a half. It's more, it's a massive economy. It's the sixth or fifth biggest economy in the world, like in countries like goes US, right? China, Japan. I want to say Germany. I can't remember exactly. And then 5 or 6 is California, right? So and also the black market is where it's around 12, or it's about anywhere from 10.3 to 12.6 billion dollars in terms of value. If you look at the recreational, look at the legal market there, it's only worth 3.1, or that was at least the numbers for 2019. Probably was a little bit higher, but still staggering, right? 4 times more in terms of how much bigger the black market is compared to the legal market. Why is that? Because the counties there, they do not have, only 1/3 of the counties in California have decided to vote and allow commercial cannabis. That's the thing, right? It can get legal from the federal sense. It can go to the state and get legal, but it still will be decided by the counties if it's going to be actually in your area. So that's kind of a crazy thing. It's also so many other aspects to this wild market. A very interesting documentary, and I highly recommend it. Go check it out. It's on just the Weed Maps YouTube channel. Anyways, guys, hey, I really appreciate you. I'm going to try to keep figuring out this format, but go follow my personal channel. It's Let's Talk Cannabis LMC. I want to thank Cannabis Legalization News, Tom, Miggy, Lauren. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. I'm very excited to continue to do this. I'm very excited to work with y'all, and I'm very glad that we ended up meeting. And anyways, guys, hey, my name's LMC. Really appreciate y'all. Like I said, go check out. Also, guys, go check out the Dab Roast. This is a show that I also work on. This show is 10 dabs, 10 questions with celebrities. It's a show. It's created by Scott McKinley, and there's a whole team. It's really dope. But if you guys want to find it, just look up the Dab Roast on YouTube. Search bar, the Dab Roast will come up right away. Anyways, guys, my name is LMC. I really appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening, and I hope y'all have an amazing, amazing day. Peace.
Rolling the door, I love the door. 16, I'm talking that pound, I be gone. Pounding it all, I ride in this blood. I know it's small, yes I know, yes it's small. I love these doors. smoke.